in towards the draft and heading into this game 2 here, we're seeing Kufra, of course, having one of the highest ban rates so far. What do you feel about this Kufra brand, and why do you think that teams don't really want to deal with it?
I had this discussion with Mlbb yesterday during the match against RRQ and VFM, where the game 2 that VFM won, it was because of that Kufra. I was talking about maybe you can let Kufra through, but I was proven wrong. Kufra, the Tyrant's Rage, the Bouncing Ball, the Tyrant's Revenge, Tyrant's Wrath, and Bouncing Ball. It's just too much. Sure, he got nerfed, but his ability as a front line to disable mobility, to get that engaged, is just way too overwhelming for most of the heroes in this current meta to deal with. And it's just those picks that if you let it through, then you're basically reducing your chances of winning as much as it sounds ridiculous. And
it's pretty hard to actually catch out to Kufra as well, judging from the fact that, yes, there's those tweaks in terms of cooldown and such, but the chain crowd control that he provides is definitely one thing that could disrupt the entirety of a team fight. Now, we're also seeing Kaya as well as Export being rebooted, so we're just keeping some stuff consistent right here as we're heading in towards the later phases of this day here. And Team Gosu now trying to fight back, trying to go in with that reverse sweep. They need something that's absolutely different, and they should come with that plan B. And starting off, they are going in with the Hylos as it's being left out in the open. Of course, that Harriet ban here was something that was pretty interesting to me as well, because sometimes it's being left out in the open, and yet again, not many of these players are actually opting to pick up the Harriet. And I love how Team Gosu loves to also play with the camera.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be Lunox and Grok for Axis Esports. They have found their comfort zone, or should I say, Team Gosu gave them their comfort picks. If you look at the previous game, maybe it should be Xbox and Grok being taken out. Then you can safely take the high loss without having to worry about this front line from Team Axis, who has been causing so much trouble in game number 1. But instead, they let it through. They let the Lunox through as well. Maybe the Xbox and the Grok. Xbox, Lunox, and you let the Grok through. These are the considerations that you have to adapt on the go. But maybe Team Gosu, they have something else in mind, because now they picked up the Marsha.
I'm really liking this pick here, and wow, we're having really solid front line sustain for the side of Gosu, so we know that they're going to be playing a lot safer than we're seeing as compared to what we saw in game number 1. And Gosu here, they need a lot of all that sort of burst potential as well, so what should they actually go for in that second phase? Because Axis Esports here will possibly go in with either a marksman pick to actually finish off this sort of round. But if they do go in for a marksman, which means that there will be a little bit less of that tank for them. And of course, they could not even miss out on that Valor pick.
Yeah, and we talk about how Gosu ban out Arkai in the second ban phase. And if you're looking at what they want to pick, maybe the Chang'e could be decent. Maybe they want to set their eyes on possibly the Gord if you want to kind of play the late game. You are still lacking that marksman, that mage. Well, we've seen them play Esmeralda. Previously, I think that Esmeralda was not a bad choice either way if they still want to fall back to that. But with this kind of opening the high-lows Marsha into the Lolita, they have a big choice to make, because they won't have the they won't have the luxury of counter-picking Axis Esports when the ban phase ends.
Well, I would definitely say the same as well. Like, there's only so little options left for them. And now, with even Chang'e getting taken out, well, this is definitely that preemptive move coming in from the side of Axis Esports. And I'm really liking what I see so far. And now we're seeing another Bruno to come into play. So with this sort of a lineup, we can see great DPS as well as burst coming from the side of Axis. But for Gosu's side, how are they going to respond to this? Yes, they got great tanks. Yes, they can go in for some split push, but they still need a little bit more of that sort of a damage output to actually take down Axis if they were ever to commit in towards a full-blown team fight to fend off against Axis.
Yeah, and Axis had the same thought as well with that Chang'e ban we talked about. You look at this robust lineup, the only thing missing is probably Chang'e or maybe the Gord. I pointed it out earlier on, and I think this is the clearest choice that Team Gosu could consider. So they're locking the Gord, they're locking the Kimi, Marksman Kimi in fact, and this is going to round out possibly the final lineup for this series if Axis Esports were able to find an answer to it.
Now looking at Gosu's side, early game may not be exactly all too efficient going in for them, but of course they won't be relying on that Kimi pickup right here. And for the side of Axis, one last pick to actually secure themselves either 3 points or even stalling things out into only securing 1 point. Of course, Axis having lasted here, still deciding 15 seconds left, and wow, I'm already liking what I see with all these sort of picks going for Axis, and they could even go for another fight out, which they've already had their eyes set on towards that Thomas. So this is going to be pretty much that sort of consistency that they will have, and now we're already seeing both sides already finish up their draft. A lot of flickers have been being picked up right here, and nope, there's not going to be any other difference other than the Revitalize that has been brought in for Paulo. So this is definitely going to be that sort of righteous pathway followed by that Revitalize
execution. But we'll see if Team Gosu can prove me wrong. Game number 2, it is best of 3 against Axis Esports.
Axis Esports now already getting that one victory, so they need one more to tie things up. They've already lost one series against Burmese Gold, and at least that 3 points will definitely be a real huge joy factor for them to actually make a comeback. But Gosu here already proxying the wave, trying to actually chunk it down, not really damaging the side of Lung though, as Scott is coming here for the support as well. Breezy getting standing down, forced to flicker away in this early phase as Jarno as well. Wow, that's definitely going to be causing them a little bit of a commotion as well, hitting towards the mid phase. Yeah,
that is just underestimating the power of this Valier. The Soul's fireballs do slow you in AoV, and he gets one charge every time he lands it, and the accuracy from Scott has been on point. Just like his Franco hook, he's confident with those skill shots, directing them on top of Team Gosu. 2 flickers out. Breezy now does not have it. General does not have the flicker. It's going to be easy for Axis Esports to collapse on them if they want to.
We're looking at Scott right here, slowly making sure that he zones away some of all these members. But
oh, they found him!
First blood.
I got no words for that.
You overstep, and Basic is ready, but seems like Gosu will lose Kenray in the bot lane. A bit overextension. They trade 1 for 1, but if you are Team Gosu, that opening that was given over to God, perfect.
That definitely was a show of excellence coming from the core. Great stun, and of course that channeling element was a full channel to actually secure that for the first blood as well. But Basic here already spotting out
again.
Scott for another round, and Flicker has to be utilized here. And Gosu here with all 4 members being committed towards the top side. They might lose a little bit of that sort of EXP, but that doesn't matter. They've already got all that sort of pickup that they need, and they're well secured to take this first turtle down.
And we talked about how Team Gosu seems to play a more conservative playstyle, and they are doing so. The ultimate was used, channeling Omen by Basic, so no core ultimate to work with for this next fight if it ever happens. And Axis Esports, they're gonna rotate all 5 members into that middle lane. Last is waiting in the wings. Team Gosu now, it's their turn to go on the offense.
Wow, we're seeing members of Axis Esports still on level 3. But look at Gosu though. All of them have already got their ultimates and now grouping up already. And they could definitely go in for a little bit of that invade without actually risking all too much. But instead, they lock their eyes on bottom side. They want to pick up Lassit, and Lassit knows that he's being surrounded. But Lassit already gets a little bit of a helping hand coming from...
oh, they got the stop! Glorious Path is in. Brilliant starts to come out from Rain, trying to get away, but maybe not. Lassit, they laser him down. It's going to be Paulo to pick up that kill.
And Gosu finally pick up that sort of slack to head in towards this second game here with stylish fashion. The North Americans here will take down yet another turret heading towards the bottom side. But look at the response heading towards the top side though. There's still Damasha as well as Valley slowly trying to find themselves in towards the top side here. Of course, I do mistake myself. It's not really a Masha, it is the Bruno.
And Axis Esports, they recognize that Team Gosu, they like to play this style. Game 1, conservative. Great game 2, they were teaming out most of the time. So one of the best ways is to split Team Gosu apart. But Team Gosu, they are not really phased by it. They are willingly trading these objectives because they're getting more. Economic-wise, they're up 1.3k. And just as slightly mentioned, after that first 2 flicker that Team Gosu expanded, they immediately rotated basic to punish Axis Esports over aggression. Scott was way too confident to walk forward, got picked off. Team Gosu right now, they can take this fight.
And Axis Esports need to find a little bit of that sort of a mistake from the side of Gosu to punish them. But Axis here, at least, trying to hold themselves all together. 2K goalie not too far off, as we see Axis still trying to actually get themselves in towards that turtle pit and perhaps secure this still. Evil X trying to lead the way as well, but Paulo trying to zone him up, and that will not be any chance at all. We'll get a knock up as well as the wall charge they use.
And the Golden Pathway does come up, but it seems like Team Gosu are already losing members. Low with the flicker! We're fine too, but they get the stun onto Kenray, has the damage, flickers in, he picks up the Bruno, and now Team Gosu, they might want to go on the retreat. Basic still chunking out those stuns in the backline, managing to fend up Axis Esports for now. Axis Esports, they got the kill advantage, but Team Gosu got the second turtle.
And wow, Axis Esports, they may not get all too much of that sort of a turtle trade-off there, but look at the team fight. It was executed perfectly in a sense. Look at the position he's at. He picks up Breezy and immediately flickers for the next kill. Though he is getting chunked out by Kenray, there was enough backup coming from Axis to still do a little bit more of that trade, but that's pretty much well and fine. And Axis Esports found that momentum, and they are currently tying things up against Gosu, only having very slight margin of lead.
Yeah, and if you're Team Gosu right now, one of the best ways to punish Axis Esports is that aggression. We've seen time and time again. Last hit did the same mistake in Series 1. Just now he was long on the Bruno, but the wild charge will come in. Polo not going down just yet. The damage is there. The Numinum Blast actually stuns. They found a target. They can switch their attention onto Scott, and Scott is out. The stun will stop Rain in his tracks. The Guardian Barrier not able to block out Polo, but Breezy definitely another stun from Basic, keeping Rain in place, but Long will find one, as well as the crowd. 2 kills over to Axis Esports. And Team Gosu, they will be forced to retreat.
Wow, what a bloodbath coming in through the mid lane. And as we see, great dives coming in from all these members of Team Gosu. But that wall by the Grok has already negated Breezy's exit. And look at Evil X right here. He was getting zoned away, which means that Scott was being left out to die. And Evil X could only clip out at least one member of the side of Gosu, and they managed to bring him down. So that's definitely some great work. But heading back in towards that sort of the matchup that we see now, Gosu might have lost that sort of a kill lead in that sort of sense, but goal is actually not too far away. There's still time for them to catch up once again. He has purchased that Athena shield and at least have a little bit more tankiness than what he used to have in that early phase. And now this is going to be the turtle here, and Axis Esports wants to actually get a little taste of that. And what could they possibly pull off? Turtle already dropping low, and they're committed to this fight.
Lone coming in from the back, trying to go for the flank, and he will find one immediately. He does flicker, misses that. General will survive, and here comes the glorious pathway from Paulo, the maximum blast onto Long, and Long has to now back up because of Basic. Evil still chasing with that power of nature, not able to find any kill. Actually, a clean disengage from Team Gosu though. They do walk away with the turtle, I believe. Axis Esports will try to push out the tower, but again, another great start on the Scott. Basic was a marksman, is a marksman. Team Gosu, they fend off Axis Esports.
Clean as a whistle. Team Gosu managed to secure all these turtles without actually risking their lives. And Breezy, as much as we see them having a shaky start in Game 1, Game 2, they look like different monsters in this matchup. Kenray being forced to flicker away, but they're still giving a little bit more chase. But Scott will not go into that hot pursuit. So we need 2 seconds left before the first Lord will appear towards the lower side of the river. And look at Gosu. Now that they could slowly take their sweet time, reset those waves, and prepare for the next fight. But Axis Esports here are securing this rotation and towards the jungle, and they are trying to block the entry points and looking for the kill over bot side.
They want Kenray dead, and Kenray will try to buy time. The rest of Team Gosu can come to the class. Kenray just going beeline towards the rest of the team, but Ring will find that kill first. Glorious pathway a bit too late, but Polo will go for the engage. He sounds the Warhorn. Evo is going on top of General, but there is Breezy in the back line. The front line is actually split for Team Gosu, and this is perfect for Team Axis. They want to collect back in. The Omen, the Channeling Omen is there for Basic, but the damage was not enough. And now the Guardian's Barrier will find the goal. Evil X will make sure Team Gosu goes down, and Axis Esports find 3.
That was a huge swing And Axis Esports now looking to secure that mid lane tower, and they have absolute control towards the bottom side as well. They can take this one down without any sort of a hassle, and Rin has already got that concentrated energy as well. So maybe after this, they will set up a bait in towards that corner of the river, and it's Team Gosu to make a move.
And if you are the front line of the team, you have to remember the cores are your priority. Sure, you want to control the enemy cores, but Breezy and Paulo, they were accessing the back line while their own cores were exposed to Axis Esports, and now they're gonna try again. Evo X being that front line, being that guardian for Axis Esports. Goss does dodge a bullet right there, and now Long will try turning around. Breezy with a Guardian's Borrow will try to block it out, and he will do so. So the Lord will be disengaged by Axis Esports. Team Gosu still managing to fend off that attempt.
Now waiting for a little bit of that sort of a reset, heading towards the top side here. They want to shove in all those ways before going for any sort of that Lord attempt. They could even send one member off from the side of Axis to actually take down Lord while they're at it. And Evil X has already spot out Paulo for General as well. So it won't be any sort of that goal commitment coming from either Gosu or even Axis. But look at Logo, he's already bringing it down to 60%, and now Gosu has responded it out, and it will be a little bit of that reset.
Doris Pathway does keep Paulo alive for now, but it seems like Rin could jump in, not gonna find the kill, and eventually does actually Breezy. Now not even then, doing the blast only onto the valley. The flicker from him was perfect, and the rest of Axis Esports goes for the collab. 1, 2, 3, 4. Team goes to 4 side dominoes, and Axis Esports, they might not need the Lord for this one, as Team Malaysia now will look for the inhibitor and possibly the victory and to take down that high ground tower, the inhibitor. As the Kenray desperately coming back, but the Malaysian Tigers will rejoice. They lock in the first 3 points of Group B.
Axis Esports came back swinging.